Which is it?
Yeah, we believe in the Jesus that you believe in.
Yeah,
okay.
We are the Bible meets the Book of Mormon. We call it the restored gospel of Jesus Christ.
This podcaster that I follow was interviewing the girls in this cast, and I just started listening to it, and I was completely blown away by their answers and by the discussion and the quality of the discussion. And it really kind of changed my perspective on the possibilities that might happen as a result of this show, and the kind of, I don't know, the kind of doors that could open as a result of these girls. Just give it a listen. So a couple of things before we dive in and listen to the actual interview and give our response is just know that the woman who's interviewing them, Heather McDonald, who runs the podcast Juicy Scoop, who I love, she's Catholic, and she has a really, she knows a lot of members of the church. She knows a lot of Mormons. She has lots of questions. She's had lots of other women from other reality TV shows who, that's kind of her sphere. Her shtick is like reality TV, and she has a huge audience. So she has some really good questions because she's had other Mormons on, but they're always ex-Mormons, and so she has these girls on, and so she's able to ask some really good questions. Now I want you, before we listen, keep in mind, one of the main things that President Russell M. Nelson has done or strived to do is change the symbol of the church, this insignia of the church, to the Christus, to Jesus Christ, and what he says, restore the name of Jesus Christ to our name, and asks us all to use the name, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which we all have had to take a deep inhale before we say the name. Okay, so I want you to listen to how this interview goes and how, in the first few seconds, how these girls respond to her questions.
So in the most simple way that I understand it, and tell me if I'm wrong, and then we'll move on to the juicy stuff, because I think so many people don't really understand. We all hear about the garments and the being strict, and you believe in Jesus. But is it that you believe that Jesus, what is the difference? That you believe that Jesus was not in Jerusalem, but in Utah, or just a prophet from Utah got sent these messages and created a religion from Jesus? Which is it?
Yeah, we believe in the Jesus that you believe in.
Yeah,
okay. We are the Bible meets the Book of Mormon. We call it the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. So it fell off, and then it came back through Joseph Smith and was restored through Joseph Smith, the prophet. So it's the same Jesus, the same God that you're taught about in Catholic.
Yes, and people think that we're trying to make the Book of Mormon replace the Bible. That's not the case at all. It's just another testament of Jesus Christ. So we love the Bible.
Knowledge, yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, good. I think that's,
That is such a good answer. That is such a good answer. When I was listening to this, I was like, that was really good. Okay, so Heather asks this girl with the tank top on, I can't remember her name, but I think she did an amazing job. She says, I'm Catholic. Do you believe in the Jerusalem Jesus? Do you believe in the same Jesus that we believe in? And her answer, this girl's answer in response is, yeah, so we believe in the same Jesus that you believe in. And then continues, but I want you to think about, you have to understand, I know it's hard to imagine this, but there's an enormous amount of, the audience that's listening to this podcast are almost religiously agnostic, right? They're not, it's like an election, you've got your diehards on both sides. They know who they're going to vote for. They know what they think about things. They've already decided. And then there's this huge group of people in the middle who don't really pay attention to politics. They don't really care about stuff. Bravo and that audience, these are not people who are heavily invested in religion or religious debates. And they know Mormons and they know Latter-day Saint friends, and they have always wondered this. And in 10 words, this girl articulates, yeah, so we believe in the Jesus that you believe in. And the way that Heather asked the question was, do you believe in the Jesus from Jerusalem? She's framing the question as a Catholic, and most people by default know what the Catholic Church and Catholics believe. And so by this girl responding and saying, we believe in the Jesus that you believe in, it's very clarifying. And I guarantee you, this is not and this podcast is going to reach easily 300,000 people. Easily. Maybe even more than that. these people are going to take these girls at their word. They're not going to say, no, you're not. This doctrine, all these women, these Bravo reality TV fans, they're going to be like, oh, okay. Well, they say they believe in Jesus like we do, so they must. They're going to take these girls at their word. So in 10 words or less, on a platform of 300,000 people, these girls have just expressed and articulated to a massive audience that Mormons believe in the Jesus that we believe in. That is take the win. That's an amazing win. That's an incredible win. Because think about the number of people who will kind of feel like it's bridged a gap in their understanding of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and will say, have the missionaries come over and say, oh, no, come on in. I've heard a little bit about you. But they don't stop there. They continue to articulate the message beyond just saying, we believe in the Jesus that you believe in. Even though I think that's like 8 words, it's like the most articulate 8 words that I've ever, it's such a clear message. And it's also interesting to note that Kimball prophesied that in the last days, people would be drawn to the church because the women of the church would be happy, different in happy ways, and articulate. And I know we have this perception of the way that goal will be met. We wouldn't necessarily say that prophecy would be fulfilled by these controversial girls on a very extreme reality TV show. And you might have criticisms of the way that they're conducting themselves, and I say probably a lot of those criticisms are valid. But the Lord works with the tools that he has. And I think that it's very clear that how clear they are. Articulateness is not necessarily using big vocabulary words, it's being clear. Can you clearly speak a message? And she says it, we believe in the Jesus that you believe in. It's amazing. So let's keep going, because it gets even better.
Yeah,
okay. We are the Bible meets the Book of Mormon. We call it the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. So it fell off, and then it came back through Joseph Smith and was restored through Joseph Smith the prophet. So it's the same Jesus, the same God that you're taught about in Catholic.
Yes, and people think that we're trying to make the Book of Mormon replace the Bible. That's not the case at all. It's just another testament of Jesus Christ.
So Demi is the girl with the tank top on, and she's the one that said, so we believe in the Jesus that you guys believe in. And then this girl in the pink t-shirt, her name is Jennifer Affleck, and she's distantly related to Ben Affleck, although she's never met him, which she clarifies later. It's amazing how in 30 seconds they clarify so much. They actually clarify an amazing amount that people actually genuinely have questions about. And they say, what a lot of people think is that we're trying to replace the Bible, but we're not trying to do that. They sum it up beautifully. They say, we believe that Joseph Smith restored what was lost. And it's just incredible. These girls, this is the first discussion. My parents were back in the days where they had to serve missions. You had to memorize the first discussion. This is the first discussion. If you can get investigators to the point where they're like, oh, Jesus Christ is the Son of God and you believe in him, and there was truth lost, and Joseph Smith restored some of that truth about Jesus Christ as the Son of God. This is going to be seen by a huge audience, and I just think that we should kind of recognize the win that this is. And I know that you wouldn't think that maybe girls with questionable behaviors on a reality TV show representing Mormons in maybe a questionable light would be advancing the missionary efforts so much, but I guarantee you there will be people who are curious about our church and more interested in it just because of the 2 things that they clarified. It's really impressive that they are willing to put themselves out there and able to articulate the message so well. I think another thing that is interesting as you watch the interview is they're very normal, happy girls, and they are able to kind of express this kind of joviality that I think is going to draw people to the show. Is also going to draw people to exactly what President Kimball said, where he said that people would be drawn to the church in the last days because the women of the church distinguish themselves in happy ways. And I think that they kind of hit it out of the park with those things. And so I know that they're going to take a lot of flack. I know that they're going to. And I think that we should be sending, especially these two girls. So it's Jenn Affleck and Demi Engelman. I think you should send them some love. Send them. I'll leave their their links in the description. I think that we should be encouraging them. We should be like, thank you for articulating this message so well on the podcasts that you're visiting. And it's important to note that they're both really honest later in the interview about where they stand with the standards. They're not saying they really don't diss the church either. They just say, hey, I know where the standards are, and I'm working on my relationship to these standards, like the word of wisdom and garments. And they address a lot of these really juicier, questionable issues on a platform where women are just going to take them at their word. They're going to say, okay, you're Christian. Oh, okay, so you believe in Jesus Christ. Oh, Joseph Smith was just kind of, the Book of Mormon's not replacing the Bible. The Book of Mormon is supporting the Bible. And oh, they believe in the Bible. I mean, it's just it's an amazing episode. I think it's really cool. If you're new to my channel, welcome. We do lots of videos on different topics that are of kind of more interest to usually women. It's called Women in Priesthood. So we do topics covering Heavenly Mother is kind of our current kick. I've got a whole playlist and podcast dedicated to researching everything that Joseph Smith revealed about Heavenly Mother, everything modern prophets have said about Heavenly Mother. I also have done a lot of collaborations with Word Radio ladies, and that we have a few recent videos that I'll leave in the links where we talk about the Family Proclamation and talking about the Family Proclamation and our wards in a Mormon environment. We talk about Russell M. Nelson's birthday. It's just a really fun environment where other LDS women who are, I think, maybe this is where I come from this. It's very easy when you look at these women on a reality TV show to say, I'm so much better than them. Like, I'm doing a much better job. I understand where that energy comes from. And I understand that it can feel frustrating when you feel like they are taken as such a literal representation of who you are. But trust me, most people recognize as they're watching this that, Sister Wives sits on one side of the spectrum of representing LDS women, and Real Lives of Mormon Wives, these women, the TikTok moms, represent the other extreme. I think they recognize that they're an extreme novel version of your average LDS woman. And just so on Word Radio, I know what it's like to be on a panel with other women who are covenant-worthy women who are defending the church and teaching the gospel and debunking myths. And so in many ways, I can recognize how hard it is to get through the noise. And these girls are getting through the noise. And they're doing it in a unique way that we might not have expected. But I guarantee you, they are getting in front of audiences that would never let a missionary into their home to teach the first discussion. So check out Word Radio Ladies. I'm going to leave some links to our videos that we've done. I'll leave a link to this interview if you want. There's swearing, so just full disclosure. And stick with me because I have a feeling I'm going to continue defending these girls and kind of making sure that you're not sending them hate, because I actually think that they're doing a really good job, and we should recognize that all of the girls on this cast are on there for different reasons. But these two girls, Demi Engelman and Jenn Affleck, that's easy to remember, I think are going to do a lot of good. Anyway, like and subscribe. I would love to have you new in my channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
How I yearn for you to understand that the restoration of the priesthood is just as relevant to you as a woman as it is to any man. Because the Melchizedek priesthood has been restored, both covenant-keeping women and men have access to all the spiritual blessings of the church. The heavens are just as open to women who are endowed with God's power, that power flowing from their priesthood covenants, as there are to men who bear the priesthood.